The first vocabulary word is incident. An incident is when something happens. Most of the time it's going to be something you didn't want to happen or something that's an unfortunate occurrence that you wish hadn't happened. If I say there was an incident in the cafeteria, then you may be like saying, oh my gosh, what happened? Because you know something happened. We had an incident in the cafeteria this week with one of my students. She came in to sat down with her tray, and everybody sits with their trays in the same place as she does, right? Well, the next thing I know, she was standing up over at the teacher table saying, Miss Raina, I dropped my milk. That was an incident. It was something that happened that wasn't supposed to happen. She dropped her milk on the floor and it made a puddle. And then she had to pick it up. She had to get some napkins and she had to clean it. That was an incident that happened in the cafeteria. Not too long ago, when we had the ice and the snow, when it snowed and we were out of school a day, I had an incident at my house. I decided I was going to take Briley outside to let her play in the snow. And on my driveway, I wasn't really paying attention. Well, unfortunately, some ice had melted and then refroze back, and it was really hard to see. When I came outside my house and I stepped out on that ice, my feet flew up in the air, and the next thing I know, I landed flat on my back with my arms in the air because I had fallen on the ice. That was an incident that had happened. Wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. An incident is something that happens that's not supposed to. Think of a time you've done something that was an incident. Maybe you had an incident in the cafeteria where you dropped your tray. Maybe you had an incident in the cafeteria where you dropped your spoon and you had to come tell me you needed a new spoon. Maybe you've had an incident where you fell on the ice. Those are all examples of incidents that happened. Something that happened that wasn't supposed to. Draw a picture of an incident happening to you right now. The next vocabulary word is gradual. If something happens in a gradual way, that means that it is slowly happening. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. It takes a little bit for it to happen. A good example of this, I found a picture of something that happens in a gradual way on the internet. And I wanted to share that with you because this is a really good example of something that happens in a gradual way. Think of when you see icicles on the side of a house and they start to melt because it's gotten warmer. When they start to melt, it happens in a gradual way. Little drops of water will come from the top of the icicle down, and then they'll hang on the end and then drip, 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 drip. It's a gradual occurrence. It doesn't just all of a sudden just the icicle melts, woo, it's gone. It's a doop, doop, doop. It's just a gradual, slow, steady drip. And as it drips, it'll start to get shorter and shorter until it's completely gone. It happens in a gradual way. It slowly happens. Ice melting is one of the things that's really easy to imagine with your eyes. And think about what it looks like if ice melts in a gradual way. Draw a picture of ice on the side of your house or maybe hanging on your swing set. But draw a picture of it with the sun on it and how it melts in a gradual way with drops. Do that now. The next vocabulary word is downpour. A downpour is a very sudden and very heavy rainstorm. If you are in a downpour and you don't have a raincoat or an umbrella, more than likely you are going to get soaking wet. Your clothes are going to get wet. Everything's going to be soaking wet. I actually found a really good picture of an actual person caught in a downpour on the internet. And one of the things you'll notice about this picture is this girl's got an umbrella, but she is still soaking wet. You look at her, she's like, her hair's wet. At this point, you know, her hair's gotten wet. Her clothes are getting wet. But do you see how deep and thick this rain is? This is not just a typical sprinkle. This is like pouring down rain, a downpour. Have you ever been caught in a downpour? Think about that. Think about what your clothes look like if you got caught in the downpour. Even if you ran from the car to inside the house, you probably got wet. Draw a picture of yourself caught in a downpour now. The next vocabulary word is seek. To seek means to look for something. You guys often play a game called hide and seek. Hide and seek means that one person will hide. For example, here is somebody hiding behind an apple tree. And one person who hides, the other person seeks. They look for their friend. They look for the person that's hiding. That person really has to keep their eyes open, because to seek, they need their eyes to see and to look for them. And then they'll say, ready or not, here I come, because they're telling the person that's hiding that they're fixing to start looking for them. You guys have all probably played hide and seek before. I bet at some point you've been the person who's called it. You were the person that was seeking. You were looking for your friends. To seek means to look. I bet today, after school, I bet a bunch of you walk in your house at home and you will actually seek something there. You won't be playing hide and seek, but you'll be coming in and you may be looking for a after-school snack. I like to get cookies for an after-school snack. So I come in from my house, and at my house, and I will seek a snack. I will look for something. That's the same thing. It means to look. Whenever you are seeking something, you are looking for it. Think of a time that you played hide and seek and you were seeking someone. You were looking for them. Or think of a time that you got really, really hungry and you came in your house, went through the kitchen, and you were seeking something to snack on. Draw a picture of that now. The next vocabulary word is indecisive. If you are indecisive, you have trouble making up your mind. My husband says that I'm indecisive all of the time, because we'll be in the car going to town for whatever, or the truck, and he'll say, what do you want to go eat? And a lot of times I'll say, well, what do you want to go, what do you feel like eating? And he'll say, I don't care, what do you want to eat? And so sometimes I'm a little indecisive about it, and it drives him crazy, because he'll say, hey, I know what, let's just go over and we'll eat at McDonald's. And I'll be like, no, I don't want to eat at McDonald's, because McDonald's is not my favorite place to eat. But he'll say, well, then where do you want to go eat? And I'll say, I don't know, where do you want to go eat? He said, I wanted to go eat at McDonald's. And I said, well, I don't want to eat at McDonald's. Where else can we go eat? And sometimes he'll say, well, what about Taco Bell? And then whenever he says Taco Bell, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I really want Taco Bell. Even though it's one of my favorite places to eat. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood for Taco Bell. So I'll say, no, I don't want to go to Taco Bell. And then he'll say, well, what about Pizza Hut? And I'll say, oh, I don't want Pizza Hut. And he'll say, you're so indecisive. Would you just make up your mind where you want to eat? If you are indecisive, you have trouble making up your mind. Draw a picture of yourself trying to make up your mind between two of your favorite places to eat. Which place would you want to eat? Draw a picture of it of you being indecisive as you try to make up your mind. Please wait. The next vocabulary word is oblivious. Oblivious means that you are unaware, that you don't notice, that you have no idea something is going on. If you are oblivious to something, you don't notice it. You don't know. You are completely unaware that it's happening. Let's just talk about what might happen if you were oblivious to a rainstorm. Let's say we were out on the playground and you were on the swings and you were swinging back and forth and having a big time. But you were oblivious to these clouds that were growing in the sky. You didn't notice that it was getting dark and kind of scary looking. And all of a sudden, lightning flashed. Thunder sounded. And the skies opened up and started to rain. If you were oblivious to that, you would be totally unaware that it was even raining. You probably wouldn't stop playing. You'd probably keep on swinging. You would get soaking wet. You would probably be dripping like that girl that was caught in the downpour. If you were oblivious to the rain, you probably wouldn't go inside. You would probably just get wet. Have you ever been oblivious to something? Maybe your teacher was telling you to go sit down in your seat and you were oblivious that she was listening or talking to you. Maybe your teacher was giving you a negative on Class Dojo and you were oblivious to it and you just kept on talking. Think about being unaware or not knowing that something was happening. That is what it means when you are oblivious. Draw a picture of yourself being oblivious now.